Well, hello, everyone. It's Vic the Brick Jacobs, as you can see, and PJ, and we are here with our brand new show. And what's it called, Victor?
Feeling you with Victor Brick Jacobs and PJ, and we cover the gamut. If you think there was a void in your life, that void is over. We're going to fill your void. I don't know what we're going to fill it with, but we're going to fill it. You're going to love it in this wacky format. Never been done before. I and Paul,
Yeah.
we have been through the radio wars. We
And
have we started to get. Well, I started my radio career in Los Angeles with Paul Joseph, PJ,
that's right.
and you were known as PJ the DJ.
Right.
And I was coming over from Channel 13, KCOP television.
With that wild, you know how I saw you first, Vic? I saw you throwing bricks at a camera on a local news station where you were doing sports. And I said, who's this guy that's throwing bricks at the camera lens? And that was you.
It was not Stephen A. Smith.
It wasn't Steven. I've never seen Steven with a brick in his hand in my life, just a cup of coffee. But
Just a funny story.
Yeah.
A funny story before we get right into the meat of this new enterprise. We want to thank everyone for tuning in.
Oh yeah.
Stephen A. Smith is running amok right now.
Yeah.
And he loves General Hospital, the soap opera, and he has a recurring role in General Hospital. And
On a stretcher? Or is he actually?
and he loves it. He loves GH. And Yuko and myself also, we are devotees of GH. But
Yeah.
when we saw Stephen A. Smith sauntering in with his suit and the thing, I'm going, this is wild. And his name is Brick.
Oh, see that?
I'm wondering if that's a reference to me, or he just came up with this. I did a show with Stephen A. about 10 years ago on Fox Sports Radio.
Yep.
And we had a great time. And
Yeah.
he's a tremendous talent, let's face it. And I'm feeling that maybe he gave me some love and called himself Brick on General Hospital.
Yeah, I
Is
love it.
that nuts?
I love it. So we can go on General Hospital, ABC, and see Steven every once in a while. He's a great guy. I've met him several times. He's
He's a tremendous dude. His
Yeah.
swagger, his bluster is legendary.
Yeah.
But he makes very cogent points.
Yes.
And I love him in any format, sports, politics, anything. The way he expresses himself,
That's right.
that's the key. But I want to express myself, Paul, and I know you do too.
Yeah.
Southern California has been through hell
Oh,
with the insane wildfires, and I want to thank the first responders, the
yes.
fire, the LAFD, LAPD,
Yeah.
everyone, all the heroes,
Hero.
all the men and women,
Yeah.
who did such heroic acts
Yeah.
to save people's lives, properties. Yes, there was insane damage, but we're going to build back.
Yep.
We're going to restore. We're going to recover, and we're going to build Los Angeles even stronger, because we are the capital of Pasión y Corazón, passion and courage, Southern California. And Paul, you were very close to the fires in Malibu.
Yeah, it was very scary. We had the first fire. We had it in our backyard, and I had 20 firemen back there for about 2 hours fighting it and above. And they were just like synchronized. They would like come and do a water drop, and then they'd have guys on both sides. They were amazing. But God bless them. They kept all of the structures, my house and my neighbors, all safe. And it's amazing how they work and how they put their lives in grave danger just arbitrarily. They just do it. They're not doing it for any reason except it's their job and they love what they do. And then to top that off, I get through that fire, and 3 weeks later, the next Malibu fire is called the Palisades fire, and we all know what happened there.
Mm.
It just wiped out the whole community, and it wiped out my childhood house, because that's where I was born, in the Palisades. So
I remember you went to Palisades High School.
yes, in Palisades Elementary. Fortunately, a piece of Palisades Elementary is still there, the main piece and tower. There's a tower, Vic, there that on the street is Via de la Paz, and you have to wait till you graduate elementary school, and the big thing is they take you up in the tower.
Oh.
And I am glad that's still there, because hopefully the kids will continue to graduate and be able to go up there because it's such a exciting moment for kids to do that. But yeah, it was crushing, and it's crushing now to look at that tape and see. I mean, total devastation, just total devastation. It's just horrible, And I feel for the kids, and I feel for the people, there and along.
Altadena as
Oh,
well.
yeah,
Altadena and Monrovia
Monrovia.
and Sierra Madre. I mean, so many
Yeah,
communities
yeah,
were destroyed, especially, so much love to Altadena. I know so much destruction in Altadena,
yeah,
as well as the Palisades. And so I want to send all our love and
yes.
all our healing power. And, gets, hopefully the federal government keeps their word and they, give us money to rebuild.
I have a good feeling. I think they're going.
Yes,
Trump was here yesterday. He surveyed every,
right.
and I really believe that the federal government's going to come by with some cash for this and kind of cut the red tape and get this thing rolling so that within 4 or 5 years, that city can be blooming again. And it's going to take a little while because everything's radioactive right now. But I think they'll get there. But let's send them our love, and let's talk about another radioactive area, which you and I have been laughing about, is the NFL coaching world, which is just incredible. I mean, just think about what's gone on in the last few days with the amount of coaching changes. With Aaron Glenn going back to the Jets, right? He used to play for the Jets. He's going back there. Mike Verbal from he was
Vrabel.
Babel. I mean, Titans coach, and now he's had a couple years off, and now he's back, right, with the Patriots where he
Yes,
play, right?
yes. It's a coaching carousel, Paul. But the biggest hire, Pete Carroll,
I love
is
that.
isn't that a great hire by the Raiders?
I mean, I think it's such, and I know people disagree. Some people disagree, but I think he brings a culture that they've never had, or they haven't had it in 30 years. But he brings this great culture. He was at the Seahawks for 14 seasons, only one losing season in 14 years. And he just has this way about him. He did it at USC. He's just going to bring, I think, magic there. He'll work with the quarterbacks. Giant rumor that, you know, he's going to be getting his old quarterback back, Russell. We'll
Oh,
see if,
Russell Wilson.
yes.
That's a good rumor because it's all about head coach, quarterback, uh, GM.
Yeah.
This is the new triangle of power in the NFL. You
Yeah.
must have a great GM,
Yeah.
a great head coach,
Yep.
and a great quarterback.
Right.
After that, just fill in the blanks. Put in the complementary pieces. But I'm so loving the Raiders taking the initiative and having the huevos
Yeah.
that hire, Pete at 73 years,
Yeah.
fresh, creative, and free. He built a dynasty at Troy.
Yep.
I mean, he won national championships at Troy.
Oh
And
yeah.
then, as you said, 14 years in Seattle, missed the playoffs once.
Right.
I mean, that's an insane record. Players loved him. I mean, he was so active and so passionate.
Yep.
And I know Al Davis is cavilling somewhere in silver and black heaven.
Yes. Yes.
Al Davis loves this hire.
Yeah.
And let's face it, you got to have that triumvirate. And now at least the Raiders have an excellent head coach
Yep.
in Pete Carroll. Now they got to get the quarterback. You're not going to win with Minshew, with
No.
Gardner Minshew. I
Yeah.
mean, you're not going to win.
You're not.
The AFC West is too tough. Um, the Chargers had a nice year, fell flat in their playoff game. With the Texans, when you know Justin Herbert threw 4 picks. You're not going to win a playoff game when you throw 4 picks. But the Harbaugh era is in. He is sensational. He changed the culture, as you said. Pete Carroll will
Oh.
change the culture uh, in Las Vegas. That was just a sensational hire,
Oh yeah.
and Viva Las Vegas, and Viva Los Raiders.
Yeah.
I want to see them come back. When the Raiders are a good team, it's good for the league. It's good for America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been a Raider fan since I got to town. I used to have sessions with Al Davis. He was a Brooklyn boy.
Right.
He wore those crazy polyester jumpsuits.
Right.
We used to talk football on the sidelines. Back at El Segundo Junior High School when they used to train there.
Right.
Back in the day when they were Los Angeles Raiders.
Oh my God.
But I used to always have great conversations with Al Davis. He was a genius.
Oh
He
yeah.
was he got a lot of bad raps, but people are jealous of his genius. But
Well,
Al Davis, led the Raiders to the promised land,
yeah.
Super Lombardi trophies, and now the last 10 years has really been very very tough,
They really
very difficult.
they need to stabilize. I think Carroll will stabilize them. Do I think they'll win? I don't think they're going to win. I think they're 3 years, 4 years away. I don't honestly. I don't think they're bringing Pete Carroll in to win. I think they're bringing Pete Carroll in to stabilize that team,
Hmm.
find the quarterback, work with the quarterback, get them on track, and then go from there because they're so far away from winning, you know, to the people that they have to play in the league that they're in and all that, the division. It's very tough. But I do think that they'll stabilize. I do think they'll win more games. And I love the hire. I love the hire, you know. I love it.
A ballsy move
Yeah.
by the Raiders and the Davis family, and I'm really cavelling, uh, really happy on that hire. How about America's team? Used to be America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. They're almost irrelevant. Brian Schottenheimer, their new head coach, comes out of the Schottenheimer family tradition. His father Marty was a sensational coach in the NFL. He won, with so many teams. He won like 200 games. I think it was the seventh leading victory total in NFL head coaching history, Marty Schottenheimer. So he has great roots. His father was a sensational coach. And Brian's been doing it for like 15 years, paying his dues as a coordinator, never had the head coaching job. And now suddenly, people are really down on the Cowboys for hiring Schottenheimer when he's never been a head coach.
Well, and as we know, Schottenheimer's been there. He was their offensive
Yeah,
coordinator.
yes,
So, I mean, they didn't really hire him; they promoted him. And it's like
yes. Great point.
he's been promoted to head coach. I think the rub here is not so much about the coaching as it is about every time it's time to do something, the Cowboys seem to be last to jump in, whether it be the draft. They didn't do a lot in the draft, the last draft at all. And they really took some hits on that. Now, the coaching thing, all the coaches went, all the good coaches, you could say, got hired. And then they decide to promote from within, which who's to say if that's good or bad? Like you say, Schottenheimer, good coaches. I think Brian is a little conservative. I think it's going to be.
He likes the running game like his father.
He likes the running game, and I think that you might have to open it up more. You've got C.D. Lamb, you've got these players, you know, that you've got speed. Open it up. But anyway, they did that. I think Jerry Jones is never going to change as long as he runs the organization. Who knows if it's ever going to be big again? I don't know. I can't say it's going to be the America's team again because I don't know what Jerry Jones is thinking, but it's an interesting twist. I think that Liam Cohn was hired by the Jags. They talked Cohen. They talked about him. They talked about Ben Johnson to the Bears.
Ben Johnson was a very hot prospect.
Yeah, from Detroit. And the Bears took him, and
Smart call.
I love that move. I think Pete Carroll was also up for the Bears position. So
Yeah, there was a lot of interviews just to uh, reverse field on back to the Cowboys.
yeah,
Dak Prescott, their quarterback, really likes Schottenheimer. They have a vibe together, and that hasn't really been the story with the Cowboys lately with Dak. But Dak has a vibe with Schottenheimer, and that's key. That he respects Schottenheimer, he likes Schottenheimer. So that's a good. If you're a Cowboy fan, there's your ray of hope. And then maybe listen, they have a great, not great, they have a good nucleus of players. With C.D. Lamb and
yeah.
all these guys, they need a good draft. They need maybe three or four players. But obviously it's the Eagles and the Commanders now. Magic Johnson's Commanders. That's who will rule the NFC East
Right.
going forward. But going back to the Cowboys, I used to cover the Cowboys back in the '80s when I was in Austin, Texas, and I used to take my Rastafarian cameraman to Thousand Oaks
Yeah.
because Tom Landry loved Cal Lutheran,
Oh, that's great.
loved the whole Bible thing there and the religious, and it was so remote,
Yeah.
so out of LA,
Yeah.
and just really a serene atmosphere for Tom Landry. And I used to cover them for about 3 summers with my Rastafarian cameraman. And I'll never forget it. Gary Busey, that freak,
Yeah.
wanted some pot. He needed pot. So
Yeah.
he goes to my Rastafarian cameraman and says, "Hey, man, can you score me a couple of joints?" And of course, my Rastafarian cameraman is totally benevolent. Sure. He says, "Yeah, yeah, Busey." So he gives Busey a couple of joints. But that's a cowboy training camp story from Cal Lou that you're not going to get anywhere else.
No, that's amazing. With Gary Drug Abusey, as we called him.
Drug abuse, you're telling me, out of control, man.
Oh man, he was just crazy. Still is. I see him.
Has he ever hit you in a Malibu parking lot?
You know where he hit me was in at the Malibu Fair that goes on every year here, and we bumped into each other there. And he was like, there was a chili cook-off going on.
Yeah.
One of my friends, I'm not lying to you, I'll tell you the quick story. One of my friends was doing a new chili that they had invented, and they were trying to sell this chili. So here comes Gary Gary Drug Abusey. He comes and they go, "Oh, Gary, it'd be great if you tasted this chili and we get a shot of you doing it." Da, 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 da. And he immediately starts negotiating like you're talking about. And he says, "What do I get? What do I get for that?" And he's negotiating to do a little shot, a little taste of chili at the chili cook-off. And I just thought, whoa, this guy. But he's never changed, is my point. He's never changed and never will. He's a nice guy, though. I do like him. He's a nice guy, but definitely got some.
He's got serious issues.
Yeah, yeah,
And don't get me started
yeah.
on a TV movie shoot in British Columbia.
No.
Don't get me started
All right.
over there because it would lead to.
We'll say that.
Let's save that, and
Let's say that.
I'll see if I can clear it
Right, because
with the proper sources.
I have breaking news about, there's one team left that doesn't have a coach, the Saints.
Right.
They're still looking for a coach. But this breaking news, it just came in, Vic, and you're going to like it.
We're going to break news for you on this show. We're going to break news.
Right.
We're breaking news. We're filling the void.
Mike McCarthy, former Cowboys coach, just released, right?
Yes.
Yes. He's going to In-N-Out for lunch.
That's a good call.
That's the only thing I got on Mike McCarthy. That's it.
Mike McCarthy.
The big fella's heading over to In-N-Out to slather down the double-double.
That's a good call by Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, it's the good old boy network. He's going to get a gig as an offensive coordinator or maybe a head coach.
You think he'll take a gig as an offensive coordinator again?
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too much pressure, dealing with Jerry Jones and the whole Cowboy mystique.
Yeah.
And the injuries, and Dak Prescott was injured his last part of the season. It never happened for Dallas this year. I think they were 7-10.
Right.
They haven't won a conference championship game in like 20 years.
Right.
This team is searching and seeking. A la the Raiders. Remember the Raiders in Dallas? They used to dominate, but things change. Now it's the Washington Commanders of Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
One of the owners. This Jaden Daniels out of Cajon High School in San Bernardino. This Jaden Daniels. He's the real deal.
He is the real deal.
He's the real deal. I know you love fantasy.
Yes.
How did Jaden do in the fantasy ranks? He must have had an amazing year, Jaden Daniels.
He was one of the surprise guys fantasy. And if you got him, and even like if you got Bo Nix, you were racking up big points in fantasy, because those guys just took off, And honestly, nobody, I'm not going to say nobody, but most people didn't think Barkley was going to do what he did in fantasy either.
insane.
a darling. I mean, he just racked in the points.
And I just want to do a quick aside. The New
Yeah,
York Football Giants for
yeah.
letting Saquon Barkley go. You see the brick? You
Great.
see the brick? You freaks! New York Giant football's in the sewer.
It's the worst. It is the absolute.
How do you get rid of Saquon Barkley?
How do you get rid of the guy like that? I mean, what possesses you when you're already, you're scraping bottom, and this guy is your savior? And well, if you look back, they didn't know how to use him. They weren't using him properly. Honestly, he
It's
wasn't breaking these big yardage plays like he is now.
Well, the offensive line was not the Eagles' offensive line.
Right, right. Even the Eagles open up that offensive line and make those lanes for him, which are incredible. Which you know the Giants just can't do. And I don't
But
know.
because they're a franchise from hell.
Right.
PJ, they I was calling for Grace Jones to quarterback their team instead of Daniel Jones the last 5 years. They were so into Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
This guy was a bust from Duke from the get-go. But
Oh,
yet they loved him and they kept starting him and they kept going 5-12 every year with
why?
Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Then they brought in the chicken parmesan guy for a couple of weeks. I
Yeah.
mean, this team is a disgrace, to New York. I mean, the Jets are a disgrace as well because I grew up in New York, so I have strong feelings on these two teams.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up with, as a Jets fan. I'll give you stories, of the Jets and me
Yeah.
trying to meet Joe Willie Namath at some sleazeball. But
Yeah.
bottom line is, that's another story, PJ. But
I know.
both these teams are an embarrassment.
They're embarrassment. The Giants, the Jets, the Jets kind of listened to Aaron Rodgers completely. It seems like they did everything he asked them to do.
But they didn't take his drugs that he took. They never took those drugs.
They should,
Every member of the Jets should have gotten into a dark room
yeah.
with Aaron Rodgers and imbibed, smoked, inhaled. I forgot the name of the drug. It's like a peyote button kind of thing, a hallucinogenic. Every Jet should have had a hallucinogenic at their locker and do it with Aaron as a bonding experience. They might have gone 12-5.
Maybe they would have. I mean, I honestly think if you break down, they have, they have a good team, Vic. They have a good team, but they have the same problem the Giants have
Mm.
from management out. Right, the management, isn't strong, isn't centered. We don't know what they're thinking about. We don't know what they're trying to do, and it's like giving Saquon away. It's like Saquon Barkley giving him to Philadelphia. I mean, it's just
Within your own division, at least ship them out to the West Coast where you're not going to see them that much. It's so, I mean, every decision they make is butchered. And every New York Giant fan, and I know they live and they die with their Giants, just like Jets fans, and
right,
just like every fan
right,
in this league.
right.
But, the Giants had a proud history, Super Bowl champions, proud legacy of professional football in New York, and now to see it, in the toilet like this,
Yeah,
it's really horrific. And again, Daniel Jones, again, Grace Jones, Grace Jones for the
that
Giants,
call.
and for the Giants, and
Yeah,
for the Jets,
yeah,
maybe they all take the same hallucinogenic you know, as Aaron Rodgers
yeah,
every game, and they would have gone 12-5. That's just my prediction.
yeah. I love it. I love
It's
it.
a little outlandish, but that's what you're going to get on Feeling You
No, we
with
have to. We have to.
Jacobs and PJ. You're going
We,
to get strange, off the border, off the grid opinions that you're not going to hear, on your basic sports talk show.
that's right.
We're delving into it. We're getting crazy. We're getting nuts, and we love it.
And we're going to the locker room. We're
And we're
going
going to the locker rooms, man. That's how we roll.
stories. So with the playoffs here, the teams. Who are you taking? Who do you think is actually going to come through?
It's so hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes at home
Yeah,
and Andy Reeves. Andy Reid is a great, great Hall of Fame coach.
amazing.
They have all the ingredients we were talking about before. General manager, sensational. Head coach, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. And they're going for a record third straight Super Bowl.
Right,
And also on an entertainment note, Andy Reid, went to Marshall High School in Los Angeles.
right. He's an LA guy.
He's an LA guy. He did a punt, pass, and kick video when he was a kid. Look it up. It's very vastly entertaining. Andy Reid punt, pass, and kick video.
Okay.
Very entertaining.
We got to see that. We
I love Andy Reid. He's sensational. But he and Patrick Mahomes, they're like one spirit, one love, one powerful force.
oh,
And are they going to win three in a row? I'm not betting against Mahomes at Arrowhead.
you can't. You can't. They're at Arrowhead. They've still got the same players. Yes, they're a little older, but they've got this magic of when they're down, third down, fourth down, that's Mahomes territory. That's where he shines. He's not giving up throwing the long ball like he used to. He's not doing that stuff. But when it comes to third or fourth down, I don't think you want anybody else but him running the play.
And Buffalo, bless those fans in Western New York, the way they throw down
I love it.
in blizzard temperatures,
Yeah.
and they represent
Woo.
for their Bills. And I have such great respect for Buffalo, those Western New York fans. In fact, one of my distant cousins, Harry Jacobs, used to play linebacker in the 60s for the
Wow.
Buffalo Bills. My father's name was Harry Jacobs. And I adopted Harry Jacobs, the Buffalo Bills linebacker, as one of my all-time favorite players, just because he had my father's name.
I love it.
Harry Jacobs. But back in the day, Buffalo wasn't very good. But Harry made a lot of tackles because he was on the field a lot, so he made a lot of tackles. But this Buffalo team is filled with incredible talent,
Yep.
and I also want to throw down for Jaden Daniels, rookie in the championship game of his conference. That's unbelievable. Out of Cajon High School,
Yep.
Here is Sam Bernardino, Sam Burdue.
Yeah.
I think he was the second pick in the draft. It was an outstanding selection by the Commanders.
Amazing.
I mean, to take Jaden Daniels, but
Yeah.
the way Jaden is produced this year
Yeah.
is mind blowing. But Saquon Barkley, out of Penn State, one of my favorites, 105 yards short of Eric Dickerson, our friend ED, the Hall of Famer. 105 yards short of the 2105, the all-time record. And if he had played that last game against the horrendous Giants,
Oh,
he would have gotten 105. But he didn't because he wanted to save himself for the playoffs.
he didn't
Incredible
he didn't care
self-sacrifice.
about that. He cared about the ultimate goal, and he proved it right there.
Exactly. And again, it's a team sport. It's not just Saquon. The whole team would have had to play against the Giants. They didn't want to. The
Right.
O line said, enough. We're banged up. We need a week off.
Right.
And if the O line's not there, Saquon's not there. So
Yep.
it made sense.
It does make.
So Saquon, very, very selfless. But what a year.
Oh,
I mean, he's a 2,000 yard man.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so rare. I mean, I don't know, 12, 13
Yeah.
guys in the history of the league have gone over 2,000 yards, Paul.
And if he wins the Eagles, I don't think he can, but if he was to win the Eagle game, he would be, I think, an MVP. I think he'd be the guy. I really do. I think even over Josh Allen, if he could win this, because it's such a rare thing for a rookie to be able to do that, especially if he could somehow find a way to get by the Eagles, which, again, I don't believe that's going to happen. I think the Eagles are going to win and then go from there. But, we'll see. We will.
I'm loving the NFL. There's such a force of freaking nature, the way they're in our heads,
Yeah.
every day of the year. They
Yeah.
somehow are able to generate publicity, buzz, something every day. And now, we're culminating, the entire season. And I think everyone's going wild.
Yep.
Can't wait. But I can't wait.
I can't wait. We're going to do.
I can't wait for the Dodgers
Okay.
and their season. Are you ready to talk the so-called evil empire?
Yeah, let's do that quickly because we're running out of time. Let's talk about the Dodgers real fast.
Rookie.
I mean, the Dodgers are taking over. They've revamped their pitching again, which they needed. That was really the only thing for them. But now they're really going strong.
They have three incredible players. They happen to be from Japan. Otani-san, Roki, and of course Yamamoto-san. Three incredible players. But to get Roki, at 23, he's like 6'5", has a 102 fastball. He could be the best pitcher in baseball in a couple of years.
Yep.
They pick up Snell. He's won the Cy Young Award twice. They pick up Snell. They pick up, a bullpen help. They get Tanner.
Yep.
Then they get Kirby Yates. Then they re-sign Trinan, and they have their bullpen is lights out,
Yeah.
and their starting pitching now is unbelievable. Imagine, let's say Clayton Kershaw comes back in August, in late August. So you have a Clayton Kershaw coming back. I mean, who knows if these guys off the injured list come back?
Yeah.
There's so many guys they could roll in, but Tyler Glass now,
Yeah.
he's an ace.
Yeah.
He's an ace. But, Sasaki, Sasaki, Yamamoto, Otani. I mean, this is an insane amount of talent, and the rest of the league is so freaked out.
Yeah.
The hated ones, as I call them, the San Francisco Giants, are so freaked out they can't even talk about it.
Oh, they're down in the dumps, and the Dodgers have become the empire. They could win two, three, four championships with this group that's coming up. I mean, it's pretty amazing what's going on. It's just the transformation. It's taken a while, but they're really doing well.
And in the seamy underbelly, Izuhara, who of
Yeah.
course was the interpreter who ripped off
Oh,
Otani for $17 million in gambling debt. How about Ippei imitating the voice of Otani-san to come up with $200,000 from a bank to cover
yeah.
some gambling debt? I mean, is that the lowest of low?
Yeah, I don't know if the people know the story, but after all that, and he was thrown out, and he did all that, stole all that money. He just recently did that. He impersonated him again, and like you say, for $200,000 to pay off a bank loan. I mean, this guy's crazy. I mean,
He's an addict.
he should be put away. He needs to be put away. You know?
Well, 5 years is the possibility. His lawyer's trying to get a year and a half.
Yeah,
They'll probably meet in the middle.
yeah,
Um, Obviously, amazing, amazing resiliency. Talk about bamboo.
yeah.
Otani-san, his best friend, rips him off for all this money.
Right.
And he has an MVP season,
How about that?
despite all the distractions.
He
His
closed
best,
it mind, and he just went forward, which is what you have to do.
clear the clutter,
The
empty your mind.
spirit, the Mamba spirit.
The
Coming.
Mamba spirit, empty your mind,
Yep.
get empty,
Yep.
and move forward. That's what Otani-san did. An amazing year again. Congratulations, Otani, on the amazing year. And of course, uh, the child with Mamiko is coming,
Yep.
and Decoy the dog. The whole thing. It's a great family.
It's a great family.
Great family. We'll
We're
talk
running.
more. We'll talk a lot about
Oh,
Otani-san,
yeah.
Yamamoto-san, and Roki, of course.
Yeah.
Roki's story of resiliency we will get into our next episode. But
Yes.
Roki has come back from incredible despair
Yeah.
to achieve excellence. So
We got to talk about that. We got to talk about. We should leave them with this, Victor, because the rumor for the Chargers is they're going to make a huge trade to get DJ Metcalf, which I think adds a lot to the team because then they've got Ladd McConkey and they've got Metcalf, and Herbert's going to have these guys to throw to, which I think could change the whole complexion for them. They did pretty well this year, but the Chargers, if they make that trade, is going to be looking really strong. That's it.
their offense was very, very dismal this year in terms of wideouts.
Yeah.
McConkey did have a great year, but you need more than McConkey.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 interceptions against the Texans. Justin will turn that around.
Yeah.
But the running game is fine. The offensive line is fine. Just need some more weapons. And again,
Yeah.
how about mad love to Sean McVay and the Rams? They had an amazing year. They
Yeah.
won the playoff game for the people of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Got to give them some love as well to Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. Come back another year, man. You still got a lot of juice.
Yeah. He's got a lot of juice, and I think the other rumor. Oh, should we say it before we go? That Kenny Pickett is going to maybe come over and join the Rams.
I love it.
Stafford, which I love. I love that idea. So that
And
was,
as I say, sayonara on this episode.
yes.
Don't forget to watch Sumo, my favorite sport on NHK TV. It's on 4 times a day when it's on, 6
Right.
times a year, 2 weeks, and it's an amazing sport. It's so sacred, and I'll get into sumo and the sacredness of this great sport the next time we enter into a Feelin' You with Victor Brick Jacobs and PJ.
Yes. Great one. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Come on now.
Feeling you.
You're telling me.